The sea, vast and indifferent, has always guarded its secrets with a cold, relentless embrace. But some secrets are not just guarded, they are swallowed whole. Our story takes us to the raw, untamed edge of the world, Eilean Mor, a tiny, uninhabited island in the Outer Hebrides of Scotland. A desolate rock, battered by the North Atlantic, existing for one purpose alone, to host the towering Flannan Isles lighthouse, in 1900. This remote beacon of light was staffed by three men: Thomas Marshall, the principal keeper, a steady, experienced hand; James the Cat, a quiet, reliable man; and William MacArthur, the assistant, whose youthful spirit often clashed with the island's bleak reality. For weeks, their lives were a solitary rhythm, polishing the lamp, tending the machinery, braving the endless storms. Their only connection to humanity being the weekly supply ship dot. But in mid-December 1900, something changed. The lighthouse, a steadfast guardian of the seas, suddenly went dark. Not a flicker, not a beam. For ships navigating the treacherous waters, it was a terrifying silence. First to notice was the steamer Arthur passing by on December 15th. Her captain reported the anomaly, expecting a swift response. But the North Atlantic, in its infinite cruelty, was already brewing a storm that would delay any rescue for days. This delay was crucial. It allowed the island's true nature to awaken, to prepare its stage. For days, the lighthouse stood as a dark, silent sentinel, its purpose lost to the growing tempest. When the relief vessel, the Hesperus, finally arrived on December 26, 1900, after battling monstrous waves, the air was thick with an unnatural stillness. The ship's captain, Jim Harvey, sensed it immediately. The usual flag for all well was not flying. No one was there to greet them. The first man ashore, Joseph Moore, a relief keeper himself, had spent years working with these men. He knew their habits, their routines. But as he scaled the cliff face, the silence was deafening. No friendly wave, no familiar shout of welcome. Only the ceaseless roar of the waves crashing against the rocks below. His heart, a steady drum against the storm, began to quicken with a cold, creeping dread. He knew, with an instinct honed by years at sea, that something was profoundly, irrevocably wrong. Moore entered the lighthouse, his boots echoing in the sudden, hollow silence. The main door was unlocked. Inside, the lamps were trimmed and ready, the brass gleaming. A meal of mutton and pickles sat half-eaten on the table, as if the men had simply stepped away for a moment. But no one was there. The beds were unmade, but otherwise untouched. The only tangible piece of evidence was the lighthouse logbook lying open on its stand. Moore's hands, calloused by years of work, trembled as he read the entries. They were written by Thomas Marshall, the principal keeper, and painted a chilling picture of escalating fear. December 12th, gale, storm continued all day. The cat irritable, MacArthur crying. This was deeply unsettling. Lighthouse keepers were hardened men, accustomed to the sea's fury. The cat, calm and collected. MacArthur, tough as nails. For these men to exhibit such emotional distress was unprecedented. December 13th, storm continued. Men much quieter, praying constantly. God help us, the entries became frantic, almost illegible. Marshall, a man of few words, was now consumed by a desperate plea to a higher power. December 14th, storm ended. Calm. God is over all. This final entry, terse and chilling, was the most disturbing. The logbook abruptly stopped. The storm, which had prevented the Hesperus from reaching them, was still raging on December 14th and 15th, yet Marshall recorded it as ended. The men had vanished into thin air. There was no sign of a struggle, no blood, no body. The only other anomaly was a single oilskin coat left behind in its peg. Despite the raging winter storm, no lighthouse keeper would ever leave their post or brave the elements without their oilskin. It was a violation of every instinct, every rule. The formal investigation, led by Robert Muirhead, a superintendent from the Northern Lighthouse Board, meticulously scoured every inch of the island. They found no answers. Every theory, from an accident at sea to a rogue wave sweeping them away, was meticulously disproven. The equipment was intact, the supplies untouched. It was as if three men had simply walked off the face of the earth, leaving behind only the ghost of their terror in a logbook. For over a century, the disappearance of the Flannan Isle keepers has confounded historians, sailors, and paranormal investigators alike. Theories abound, each more chilling than the last. Rogue wave theory. Did an impossibly large wave sweep all three men away? Unlikely, given the high position of the lighthouse and the fact that all three would have to be outside. Simultaneously, seabird abduction theory. Ancient Celtic folklore speaks of monstrous, predatory seabirds. A fanciful notion, yet some desperate minds cling to it. Mutiny or murder theory. Did the isolation drive one of the keepers mad, leading to violence? The logbook entries certainly hint at tension and fear, but where are the bodies, the weapons? The blood! But the most unsettling theories delve deeper into the very nature of Eilean Mor itself. The island, though uninhabited, was steeped in ancient pagan lore. It was believed to be the home of the Phantom of the Seven Hunters, a group of vengeful spirits. Locals also spoke of an ancient pre-Christian altar, the Whispering Stones, said to be a place of dark rituals and sacrifices to a forgotten sea god. The stones, it was whispered, could call to men, drawing them into an inescapable communion with the Epsal depths. Consider the final, chilling entry. Storm ended, calm, God is over all. What if the storm Marshall described wasn't an atmospheric one, but something far older, far more insidious? What if the calm he felt wasn't the clearing sky, but the terrifying peace of surrender? The island had its own hunger, its own voice, born from forgotten rituals and the relentless pounding of the sea. It didn't just take the men, it absorbed them, drawing them into its eternal, silent communion. The Flannan Isle mystery remains officially unsolved. The lighthouse stands today, automated, its lonely beacon cutting through the perpetual gloom. But for those who brave the journey to Eilean Mor, the silence is profound. It's not just the absence of sound. It's the heavy, pressing silence of something that has claimed its prize. And sometimes, when the winds howl just right, it's said you can still hear the faint, mournful cries of three men, forever trapped in the whispering stones of Eilean Mor, their voices lost to the indifferent, hungry sea. So we reach the end of the road. Or perhaps just the beginning of a much longer, much darker journey. We have walked through the rotting ruins of Blackwood Ridge, where the earth pulses like a living brain. We have climbed the jagged cliffs of Eilean Mor, where the wind carries the screams of three men who were swallowed by a silence that has no bottom. Two different worlds, separated by an ocean yet bound by the same terrifying truth. QC. Humanity likes to believe we are the masters of this world. We build lighthouses to conquer the dark. We build villages to tame the wild. But these stories, these facts, they remind us that we are merely guests. And sometimes the landlord is hungry. What happened to Julian Vane? What happened to the three keepers of the Flannan Isles? The official reports call it misadventure or mass hysteria, but you and I, we know better. They didn't just disappear. They were integrated. They were invited back into a primordial consciousness that was here long before we crawled out of the mud. We'll be here long after our greatest cities are nothing but dust. As you turn off this screen. As you walk back into your well-lit rooms, I want you to listen. Listen to the hum of the air conditioner. Listen to the settling of your house. Is it just the wind? Or is it the mountain beneath you finally noticing your weight? Is it just the darkness in the hallway? Or is it Isabella waiting for you to look into the mirror at 3:15 a.m.? The stories I have told you tonight are not just entertainment. They are warnings. There are places in this world where the veil is thin, and once you look through it, the veil looks back through you. You can never truly unsee the obsidian heart. You can never truly unhear the whispering stones. Thank you for staying with me through the dark. Sleep well if you can. But remember, if you wake up and hear someone calling your name from beneath the floorboards, don't answer, because the silence is no longer empty. It is full of everything